The video that I chose to do is from the Vox Video website, and it's a video talking about Radiohead and them going through and playing the song Videotape. And it starts off with a clip of Tom York struggling to play 4 notes in a song to start it off, which is kind of weird for a professional musician to not be able to play 4 chords correctly in the order. And it starts off with just showing him in the crowd in the actual video, the actual footage of him struggling at first. And it talks about how it started and how it's a song that nobody actually knew yet, before an album that was supposed to come out next. And the big story with this song is that the live version that they first put out before the video, before the album, is actually much different than the one that they put on the album. And there's a big debate between Radiohead fans about which one's better and which one they like more. And the difference is that in the live version that they're showing, there's a lot more action, the beat's different, and on the actual studio version, it's much more laid back. They describe it as sounding like a funeral march versus the one live that has a lot of action. It's very upbeat. So the story here starts out, it's an anecdote. It starts out with just explaining what the story is and why they're covering it. And it doesn't really seem like that big of a deal. It seems kind of like an interesting little read, and as someone who's a music fan, it just grabbed my attention. I know Radiohead, I don't know them that well, but I know music and Radiohead well enough that I thought this would be kind of interesting. And the reporter is talking throughout the whole thing. She's narrating it along with the help of a couple of Berkeley professors, and they're talking about what makes the beat so different and what actually makes it interesting. And what actually is interesting is the fact that the beat in the video in the live version is syncopated, which means that the downbeat of the main 4 beats that Tom York is playing actually comes a half beat before the first beat. So it'd be 1 and 2 and on the 2 and the 4 and is when the actual downbeats, the first and third of the 4 notes that he's playing, is when he would actually play it. And it's just very interesting because as a non-music person, you hear 1, 2, 3, 4, the typical 4 beats, and it explains why Tom York, as a very accomplished musician, was having trouble playing these 4 notes. And the whole story goes through that, and it explains things very well. And it was just very interesting to see. And it wasn't current or breaking news. It was something that happened 10 years ago, but it's something that's still very interesting and something that can catch a lot of people's attention. And you can see shots from their live version, their live performance, and there's a lot more action, and it's really cool. My favorite shot is when their guitarist is playing. He's playing a triplet note on his guitar, and you see him live, and there's a lot of action. The crowd's really into it. They're really into it. And then they cut right to the actual studio version, and it's very mellow, and it doesn't sound anything similar. And it is kind of interesting. It draws into the Radiohead fandom and talks about the difference between who likes what version, and it's just a very interesting look at music theory and one of the most well-known and most accomplished bands in the world today.